My name is Miss Chowns over at Berg Jones Elementary School, and I teach 2nd grade ELA and Social Studies. And today we're going to look at our CKLA Skills Lesson, Unit 1, Lesson 2. Okay, so our learning targets, what you should be able to do by the end of this lesson is you can read consonants and vowel sounds in the vowel code in the consonant code flipbook. You can also dictate words using different spellings, and you can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Campsite. So we're going to review the vowel sounds that we learned from Lesson 1. So A is a very, very common vowel, and we know that by looking at this sound bar. I told y'all about the sound bar in Lesson 1. This sound bar right here is very, very, very important. It tells you how common that vowel or that consonant that you're looking at is used. And you know that everybody uses the I sound like this one. This vowel can be found on page 1 of your vowel code flipbook if you have it with you. But this is an A sound, so we're going to look at. That A sound is kind of in the back of your voice. It's not at the front, and your mouth is fully open. And on all your vowels, your mouth will be fully open. They will never be closed like that. Okay, so that's hat, and we know that it's used a lot from looking at that vowel sound bar. Okay, so then we have I. We can tell that it's being used a lot by our sound bar right here. And if you look at this word, the I sound is I. Okay, like if something's icky, you're going to go I. That's the sound for I. So when you add that T sound into it, you're going to go it. Okay, I like to teach some of my kids when we go back to hat. Okay, the way you break down your words by sound, some people use fingers, so h, at, hat. Or you can use your arm, h, at, hat. Okay, when we go to I, we only have 2 sounds, so on it, so you're going to go it. Or if you like the other way, you can go it, and then grab it. Okay, either way works. Vowels like A and I are made with an open mouth. Okay, just like I said, A and I, if you look in a mirror, your mouth is fully open. Okay, so let's take a look at some spellings in the vowel code flipbook. And when we look at these cards, it's important to talk about the sounds, okay, the letters make, and the power bar and the words that have that spelling. So 3 things we're going to look at: the letters, the sound that the letters make, the power bar, so how commonly and often it is used, and the words that have that spelling. So the E, the vowel E, is the S sound. It sounds like A, okay, but it's E. It's further in the back. So the power bar right here in the middle, if you point it out, okay, shows us that it is a very common spelling. Not as common as A, but pretty common, okay? And if you look at this, I want you to use your fingers or your arms, whatever one you want to use. I want you to break this word down with me. P, et, and I want you to grab it and say the word with me, pet. Or if you want to use your arm, P, et, and then you pull it down, pet. So you pull it all the way down. Okay, this is a vowel sound, and we trace the vowels. If you have a piece of paper or anything, you can take. We normally use our vowels, we trace in green, and our consonants we trace in red. But if you have it, I want you to take a piece of paper, and if you have a green marker or anything like that, you're more than welcome to do so. But we're going to trace the vowel sounds in green. So you would bring it all the way up and then pull it back down. And that is our U vowel. It's the sound. It's in the back of your mouth, and your mouth is fully open. Just like in all of your vowel sounds, your mouth is fully open. So break this word down with me. B, t, and then pull, but. Or you can go b, t, and then slide down, but. Okay, we have an O. When you trace your O, this one's super easy. You can start at the top and just loop it all the way around and connect it at the top. This O sound is ah. So when you break it down, h, op, and then pull it around, hop. Okay, it's very different. If you look at the power bar, the U, okay, it's not as filled up as our A and our I, but it is filled up. We use U a fair amount, but we use O a little more. So the difference between these sounds, we're going to look at is E, and A. Okay, so let's take a look at some spellings in the consonant code flipbook. Remember, vowels are different than consonants. Your vowels are A, E, I, O, and U, and sometimes Y. And again, when we look at these consonant cards, it's important to talk about the sound that the letters make, the power bar, or how often and common that they are used, and the words that have the spelling, okay? All right, so we're going to look at the sound that this letter makes. This is the letter C, okay? But the sound, if you look up here, is the K sound. K, k. It's at the back of your mouth. So like I said, if you have a mirror in front of you, open your mouth and k. You can actually see your tongue making that noise. So this is a C and it makes the k sound. Say it with me. C makes the k sound. Good. So next we're going to work our way down is the power bar. All right. So our power bar tells us how commonly and often it is used. And we use our C a fair amount, that C sound. And if we break this word down, we know what C sound is, the A sound and the T. So if you break it down, k, at, and then you're going to grab it and pull that sound, cat. Okay? So C letter, K sound, and that word together is cat. All right, we're going to review the G sound. Okay, if you have your consonant code flipbook, it is actually on page 6. Okay, this is the G letter. It has the G sound. Okay, it's in the back of your throat still, just like the C sound. Okay, so we have our G. Our power bar tells us that we use that letter a very, very, very often amount. Okay, and then we look at this down here. We're going to break our words down. So everybody get your arms or your fingers ready. G, I, t. Okay, let's do it again. That's a little bit longer than our last few words. G, I, t. Gift. Awesome job. Gift. Okay, so let's say these words together. We have 3 of them. All right, I'm going to break them down, and then I want you to do it right after me. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to do it right after. So number 1, p, it, t. Okay, p, it, t. What do you think the word is? Good. You're going to grab it and pit. All right, what about the second one? T, it, p. T, it, p. Good. That word is tip. And our last one, you have b, ib, b. One more time. B, ib, b. Good. Bib. You're going to pull that letter around. Okay, we're going to read whole group the campsite. That means when I have it on the screen, I need you to read it with me. All right, so the campsite. And a lot of these sounds, remember if their words are bolded, you're going to break those words down into syllables. So camp is 1 syllable, site would be your next one. So break those bolded words down. This is called the campsite, and it's our second story after the visiting of Nan. So Jake came and picked up us in his Jeep, and we drove to a campsite in the Badlands. Nan, I said, what's up with that name, the Badlands? Well, said Nan, legend has it that a long time back, farmers came out here looking for farmland. When they saw all of the rocks and the sand and the stone, they said, this is bad land. We can't plant crops here, and the name Badlands just sort of stuck. Is it bad land for farming, said Jake, but it's good land for camping. When we go to the campsite, we had to unpack sleeping bags, tents, lanterns, matches, and lots of food. We lugged it all to the campsite. Jake chose a spot to set up camp, and Max and I helped set up the tents. It took us a long time. For dinner, we had hot dogs. We stuck them on sticks and held them in the fire. My hot dog got all black because I left it in there too long. Max gave me one of his, and that was when I said to myself, this Max kid is okay. So let's look at some questions. Okay, so the campsite questions. Who drove the Jeep to the campsite? Was it Nan, was it Kate, or was it Jake? So who drove the Jeep to the campsite? Nan, Kate, or Jake? Okay, and what I teach my students in my classroom is if you don't know the answer, you go back into the story that's right in front of you and you search for the answers. So this one right here, we're going to go up to the top. First sentence, Jake came and picked us up in his Jeep. So who had to have driven the Jeep? Okay, Nan, Kate, or Jake? Good, and you can underline that part in your book. Jake drove us to the campsite because it was his Jeep, just like the first sentence of our story told us. Okay, why was the place called the Badlands? Bad people live there, bad land is not good for crops, or bad land is bad for camping. Okay, bad people live there, bad land is not good for crops, or bad land is for camping. All right, well, let's look up here. Nan, I said, what's up with the name the Badlands? Well, said Nan, legend has it that a long time back, farmers came out here looking for farmland, and when they saw all of the rock and the sand and the stone, they said, this is bad land. We can't plant crops here. And the name Badlands sort of stuck. So, we go down. Why was the place called the Badlands? Well, bad people live there? No, that can't be the answer. Was it bad for camping? No, they had set up camp at the end of our story. So it has to be B. Bad land is not good for crops. And crops are things that you grow in the soil like corn and cotton and peanuts and things like that. Who helped set up the tents? Jake and Nan helped set up the tents, Kate and Nan, or Max and Kate? Let's go back up to our story and find the answer. Okay, well, we looked up Jake chose a spot to set up camp, and Max and I helped set up the tents, and it took them a long time. Okay, so it has to be Kate, Jake and Nan. No, we know Jake set up the spot for camping. Kate and Nan, or Max and Kate. Good, it's C, Max and Kate. They set up the tents. Why did Kate's hot dog get black? Now for this one, you should be able to answer without going back into the story. A, Kate left her hot dog in the fire too long. B, Kate dropped her hot dog in the black mud. Or C, Kate's hot dog fell in the ashes. It's A, Kate left her hot dog in the fire too long, and when that happens, your entire hot dog might turn black. And 5, in the end, what did Kate think of Max? Well, it tells you where to find it in the story. Did Kate feel that Max was mad at her, that he was sad, or that he was okay? If you look right here at the end of our sentence, it says, that was when I said to myself, this Max kid is okay. And you look down right here, and it's C, Kate felt that Max was okay. Okay, so let's go over a campsite real quick. If any of you have been camping, then you should know what a campsite is. But a campsite is just like in this picture, as you can see. You break the words down, campsite. And it's the place that you set up your tent when you go camping. So if you can imagine Kate and Max and Jake and Nan all right here setting up their tents. And that's a very, very, very cool view. Okay, so what jobs have to be done to set up a campsite? Well, we know that you have to pick out a spot. That's what Jake did in our story. Okay, and then Max and Nan and Kate all set up all the tents, and it's not as easy as it always looks. All right, and that is the end of our lesson 2 from Unit 1. You should be able to read some of those consonant and vowel sounds in the code flipbooks, dictate words using different spellings, and answer key questions and details about the story, The Campsite.